Like the smallest budgeted film can do
Big numbers.
make the biggest noise over there.
Yeah.
It's not the first film, but I remember very clearly going for Kante, and it had got an A rating. Obviously, I was underage, but I went. But I don't want to see Salman bhai. Like, for me, I'm happy just that मैं ईद पे उनको देखता हूँ या on the big holidays. I actually want to work with Alia. I actually do want to work with Alia. But Bhediya as well is coming, and before anyone else can tell you when, something exciting with Bhediya is going to start.
This is Himesh, and today we have with us Varun Dhawan and Sushant. Welcome to Pinkvilla, guys. It's lovely having you here.
Thank you, Himesh. We're excited to be here.
Yeah.
Before anyone else.
Varun, my first question is to you. This is like a job of a journalist, which you are doing. You're going to be breaking news before anyone else. Do you remember the last when you read something and after that you went like, to do your jasusi ke, okay, ye sach hai ke galat hai, and what was it when you...
Why do you think I've been studying you so much in the last 2 months to use this somewhere? No, yeah, very much. I think almost when you don't have work and you're trying to get to a place or trying to get a role or trying to get something, you have to do jasusi. ये किसके साथ काम कर रहे हैं, इनके साथ काम कर रहे हैं. Then maybe say यार इनका तो date ही नहीं है, तो probably look here. So वो थोड़ी जासूसी करनी पड़ती है, and then you often see actors spotted outside big directors and producers' offices. So then you feel कि अरे इनका हो रहा होगा, this that, yeah. So you put 2 and 2 together sometimes like that. You feel something or the other. Sometimes it's wrong, the news. But so these are things which I get cued in on sometimes.
But who is that person जिसके साथ you message from the industry कि यार ये सच है कि गलत है? मेरे को ये news जानना है before
you, I ask you, I verify from you only. You can't deny it. No, you are one of them. Then Aman Gill, who's a producer of Shehzada right now. He's in Canada. He's getting married for the 3rd time over there. And there are few I think who I check with. I think somewhat this and maybe Abhishek Barman, who directed Kalank with me and 2 states. We chat sometimes.
Okay. And Sushant, how did you decide on Varun to do this job? Is it because he is curious as a person in real life as well?
Very. I mean, it starts off innocuously. How's Jig Jia, how's it doing? October, how's it doing?
That's a real thing, by the way, in the film.
Yeah. It's all very real. It starts off very innocuously, and you're lulled into this false sense of, oh, you know what, it's doing, it's well. And then you slowly see him, wanting to know more about everything else.
Yeah.
So most of what you saw in those AVs was actually what actually keeps happening. So when these ideas came up and we said, how do we want to present it?
Yeah.
Kind of was like, oh, we've been dealing with this for so long, but it's been an absolute pleasure.
I think the peak was when Coolie released. Also because there's nothing else there much to do. So I really wanted to know how is it doing, how many people have done it. They were like, it's just released, like it's been 5 minutes.
Yeah, I remember him and I talking, and he was like, Shant, tell me how is it doing. I'm like, it's doing fabulously well. He's like, no, tell me more. How is it doing? Like,
so like, this is not YouTube.
But when films release on Amazon, is there any strategy to give out the numbers anytime? Because there are so many when it comes in theatre.
This is a legit question because it's not only me who asks these questions, but even y'all are.
Yeah.
Now you ask honestly. Ask
I'm asking because in theatres we have a metric. Okay, box office collection hai, pada chala hit or flop. In OTT, there's no.
No, there is. There has to be.
So let me put it this way, right? There are 2-3 parts. One, we really believe that we don't need to stack rank great stories, right? All stories have their audiences. Yeah. All good stories will find their audiences, will find their appeal. Number one. Number two, when, at key moments, we do sometimes, very rarely, have something to say about, numbers, etc. But for the most part, we believe that if a story is good. Like, for example, on our service, we have something called Top Trending or Trending in India right now, right? It's a dynamically, created or curated list of what is trending in the country. So that will give you an indication. But yeah, I mean, I think the art of stories is way beyond the numbers of it. I think it's just a good story.
I think that's what's very beautiful about the system, that before all this started, numbers and rankings and this and that. Art is subjective.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And eventually the profit or the loss that's going to happen is going to happen by the studio or the producer or the company that is investing in it, right? It doesn't really hurt anyone else.
Yeah.
But obviously fans and audiences are so emotionally linked to this journey that's what they want to know. So in a way, it's nice that there's a platform which is taking off that pressure. Otherwise, everyone who's going to make something is only going to think that I think maybe I should make this because this will run.
Yeah.
Or this will please. You'll never be able to do out of the box things and create something new then. So therefore, I feel that it's such a it's a very nice thing. It's actually going back to the simpler times with what you are doing.
Yeah.
With it's so technologically advanced the system.
But at the same time, it is so basic.
Basically, the content is there whenever you 25 week chala 30 that trending for 25 weeks, 30 weeks.
And we get to give the opportunity for all kinds of stories, right? That don't need to feel the pressure of having to sit somewhere on a rank chart. All kinds of stories are welcome. We like to encourage being, we want to be the home for talent. We want to be the home for great stories and storytellers. So it really helps for that, as Varun said, a level playing field for all stories.
Actually, it is a level playing field for everyone. Like the smallest budgeted film can do
big numbers,
make the biggest noise over there.
Yeah. Basically, content will speak.
And that isn't that what we keep talking about? How do we level the playing field? How do we make it equal for everyone? Even like maybe a very small film, which probably which released in very few theaters, didn't create that noise, can release on
OTT
on Prime Video and just like create, like it can go all over. People all over the world can watch it. It can get so much love. So I feel it's a supporter, in that sense.
Do you remember the first ever content you watched on OTT?
The first ever content I watched on OTT. Yeah, I would say the series that I woke up to, the first one would be Mirzapur. There was a lot of talk about it, and people were already like, in just the first week it came out, people were like, fantastic, and all that stuff. And I got onto it a little later, but because of the positive chatter. And again, I just got glued to Mirzapur.
Watching.
Yeah, just watching it.
Yeah. And do you remember the first ever film you watched in theatre, the experience over there? Like,
Yeah. Obviously, I remember Chandan, I would say. Giti or Chandan, one of them. Chandan, because I'm in Juhu, so it's next to my house. And I remember, wo bhi stall mein. It was for, it's not the first film, but I remember very clearly going for Kante. And it had got an A rating. Obviously, I was underage. But I went and I was like, I'm doing like something wrong. And I was going with my cousins and all. And my cousin, the Akshay, Akshay had taken me and we are going on. And I can hear those, I still remember those bottles, those bottles, truck, those noises coming, samosa. I wanted a samosa. I couldn't even reach that. And I was just so excited, when those BG would come and they would walk. Something else, man.
I think we all have done this. Ek A-rated film aisa single screen mein jaake dekha. I have seen Wanted like that.
A-rated film with only men. At that age.
So the best part on Prime Video is you can actually age gate all of the content. So if
that's
it's A-rated, you need a pin, otherwise you can't
that's
watch
very
it.
good.
Yeah,
But
that
actually,
really helps.
that was my next one. Do you think, on the OTT medium, there is lack of kid-friendly content, and do you aspire to explore that space as well? Varun, for you as well, do you think
I actually last एक महीने से मैं only kid friendly stuff देख रहा हूँ. I only want to see comedies. I only want to see happy stuff. I'm looking for more of the stand-up comic stuff.
Yeah.
I'm looking for more of the happier, more. I agree. I think I've also, like most audiences, I'm right now like I want to see happy stuff.
Yeah.
So, but luckily we do have so much. I mean, they have so much. I wouldn't say it's kid friendly, but so much young youth.
Yeah, coming of age.
Yeah, coming of age. The Hostel Days is one of them, which I love.
We've had Crash Course, we have Hostel Days, The Summer I Turned Pretty. I think there is, a lot of coming of age stories because that's really
Summer
where
I Turned Pretty.
it's a good show.
Check that show out. Summer I Turned Pretty is
show.
an amazing show, and it's called The Summer I Turned Pretty.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's about this girl, and basically they go on this every summer they go to this country place in called Cousins, right? And they have crushes and they have this, and it'll just remind you of the college days.
It's a classic coming of age story.
Okay.
So I think we continue to explore. We have seen phenomenal success with with this story. It's really resonating really well.
So it's doing well?
Really, really well. You know,
this is the way you get information.
and Varun, you know, who are the 2 stars who you think should make an OTT debut and 2 stars who you think should never come on OTT?
So I feel 2 stars who should make Siddharth, I always felt should, and he has.
Yeah.
Massive show with Rohit sir. Shahid Kapoor again.
First.
These are 2 people who are already on the platform, so maybe and they announced. So should I say like a wish list?
Go for
it.
Okay, so I should say people who shouldn't. Okay, so who shouldn't?
Yeah.
Salman Khan shouldn't.
I
don't want to say. I never know. I know that, but I don't want to see Salman by like. For me, I'm happy just that मैं ईद पे उनको देखता हूँ या on the big holidays. And I don't know anyone else. I think he's the one that I would just name him right now. and 2 stars who should make.
Yeah. One is Varun Dhawan, I think so.
I'd say Mr. Bachchan.
Oh.
Mr. Bachchan, because he's such a brilliant actor. I mean, he can just do anything, elevate anything. He'd be phenomenal in a limited series or a limited film. I would just subscribe there only. Le lo. And someone who hasn't, we're talking about. You say one.
No, it's a question for you. You're the prime.
No, even you can.
I think.
I'd say Mr. Bachchan. And
I would say Varun.
Me?
Yeah, I would say Varun. Yeah.
So you?
Are we gonna be hearing something? You mentioned something about 3rd October.
3rd October, there's going to be some massive news going to be coming out about
a big show.
Yeah, that's the reason I didn't take that person's name. Because then they would.
I see what you did there.
Because that's a debut in a way. That is a debut.
That is
a massive debut.
It feels like what are you guys talking about?
Okay, last 2 questions quickly. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think on Amazon, the content which has got a lot of viewership, one is Badrinath Ki Dulhania, Humpty Sharma, and there's another film, Kalank. All 3 feature Varun and Alia. And after that, since then there has been a lot of chatter when the 2 will reunite. Is there anything so many people want to know? Because content works in theatre -1 and OTT as well.
It works on both.
That's a good question, I think.
That's a very good question. Sushant,
for you.
It's for me. Yeah, definitely. I mean, she's someone who's very, very close to my heart. I think we share incredible chemistry. You can't just make that today. And we are. I'm happy to say that we are good friends. We care for each other, respect each other, and I actually want to work with Alia again. I actually do want to work with Alia again. I think it'll happen.
Perfect.
Maybe sometime in the future.
Perfect. And lastly, you complete 10 years. You have Bhediya up for release. Excited for this next 1 month, wherein you are the BAE, wherein you will be breaking news. You complete 10 years, and you
I
have.
was just going to say I want to do a film with her again. I'll play a nanny in that. Take the child on the strolley. No, I do complete 10 years.
Yes.
10 years, and then Bhediya as well is coming. And before anyone else can tell you when, something exciting with Bhediya is going to start soon.
Perfect. Thank you so much, guys. It was lovely speaking to you, and good luck with this.
Thank you
so much.
Thank you, brother.
Thank you.
He's always investigating.
I could sense.
Always.